this. This is as we go further, the hats get more and more limited, and until we get. But this is going to be the one. Some of you guys are going to own all of them, and if you guys don't pick this up, you can still buy this on eBay when other people buy them and post it there. So go pick this one up. There's one that's black and silver for some of you guys that don't get access to this one. The black and silver is not limited. It's one that anybody can order. So you can get that one as well. Place order for both of them because these sold out last time. We have to get a whole new shipment coming out so they don't get their total. Anyway, place your order there. Let's get right into it. Rob, Munich. Let's start off with Munich. More and more and more people are calling this man the 2028 leading Republican presidential candidate. The only thing, if he can get past the primary of beating J.D. Vance, because J.D. has the Turning Point USA organization, J.D. has some of the younger folks, and he has a bigger out there market. But when he hit the stage, Rob, if you can find a clip of when Marco hit the stage, folks, people lost their. I mean, you don't get this kind of reaction at these types of events. They clapped for him in his speech 3 times. One time he's just kind of going through the speech. They stopped him in the middle of his speech just to give him an applause, and he was in the middle of his speech. Marco Rubio. It's a 26, 27-minute speech, and there's like 5 minutes of Q&A they do at the end. But Rob, if you don't mind just showing the applause at the beginning, go ahead, Rob. So now go back to the other clip. You made a couple incredible comments that were the word I could find. It's like a leader challenging everybody, yet encouraging to unify, yet being humble and teaching history of how we once used to be hundreds of years ago. It was just a phenomenal speech. Go ahead, Rob.
The United Nations still has tremendous potential to be a tool for good in the world. But we cannot ignore that today, on the most pressing matters before us, it's no answers and it's played virtually no role. It could not solve the war in Gaza. Instead, it was American leadership that freed captives from barbarians and brought about a fragile truce. It has not solved the war in Ukraine. It took American leadership in partnership with many of the countries here today just to bring the two sides to the table in search of a still elusive peace. It was powerless to constrain the nuclear program of radical Shia clerics in Tehran. That required 14 bombs dropped with precision from American B-2 bombers. And it was unable to address the threat to our security from a narco-terrorist dictator in Venezuela. Instead, it took American special forces to bring this fugitive to justice. In a perfect world, all of these problems and more would be solved by diplomats and strongly worded resolutions. But we do not live in a perfect world. And we cannot continue to allow those who blatantly and openly threaten our citizens and endanger our global stability to shield themselves behind abstractions of international law which they themselves routinely violate. This is the path that President Trump and the United States has embarked upon. It is the path we ask you here in Europe to join us on. It is a path we have walked together before and hope to walk together again.
Tom, thoughts on this?
It was a tremendous speech. I felt that it was, I'm going to use a word here, I felt it was presidential, it was leadership, it was global stage. He then summed it up and made several, actually he had many summation points. And he would come to a summation point and he would say, you are our heritage. We came from you.
Yeah.
We came and built the U.S. with you. We cannot succeed without you. Our success is your success is our success. We have to do it together. And he made clear points, like the UN point there, without basically, attacking Kofi Annan and all the corruption of the past. He simply says the UN couldn't fix these things. American leadership did. And then he sat back at the end, and the one caution I love, he said, I didn't remember the exact words, but it was, we will not sit politely by and watch the decline of the West, meaning you and us. Just cautioning and saying, hey, look, when it comes to it, American leadership is going to step up. I loved his
Gusto mo,
and I love the fact they were paying attention. You notice they weren't rolling their eyes and tipping their heads the way they do sometimes when someone comes to stage. People were attentive, people were forward, they had their translators in their ears, and they gave him applause a couple times and gave a standing ovation. I love this speech. I love his presence. I loved what I saw. This is American leadership. That's what it's all about.
He didn't apologize for our country. He didn't bow the crowd. He pushed back and defended America. He didn't do a gathering of traitors and
Chinese music.
Ah?
Second string quarterback
Gani?
is showing up in practice and is making the coaches go, you know what? I don't know, guys. He has Trump's policies, okay? He has Trump's love for America. Without Trump's like volatility because of what the media has done to him. He's legal immigration, loves the country. I'm telling you right now, that on that stage with this speech, in my opinion, there's not even a question. JD is the younger, is the TPUSA. He's on the Oman.
It's important.
That's very big time. Oh, I agree. I agree 100%. But when it comes to it, I think he's qualified to do the job. But this guy right here, Marco Rubio, from what I'm seeing, we always say Trump's not presidential and Trump isn't this. This guy's presidential. He loves the country. When he goes to other countries, he stands firm and tells them that they're the problem, they have problems, and we have to work together. I think he's a stud. I love him.
Yeah, I want to go through another clip, and then Adam, I'm going to put you right. What other clips do you have? You have the clip of when he says the following. There's a line where he says, it was this continent that produced the genius of Mozart and Beethoven, of Dante and Shakespeare, of Michelangelo and Da Vinci, and of the Beatles and Rolling Stones. And they started laughing. These momentous and these monuments and artists testify not only to the greatness of our past, but to the promise of our future. The message was so unified. The message was so, he said, not that they were kind of trying to quote him, he said, while we are prepared, if necessary, to do this alone, it is our preference, and it is our hope to do this together with you, our friends here in Europe, and we care deeply about your future and ours, and if at times we disagree, our disagreements come from our profound sense of concern. Both our histories and our faith are linked together. There's another message he gave. He says, we got to get off this thing about fear. Can you search on the word, on the transfer fear of climate change? Type in fear of climate change. Go to that part, Rob. And then go back maybe 5 seconds prior to that. I just love, he says, enough of this fear for. Look at the way he puts this together. Go for it.
It's not just a set of bad policies, but a malaise of hopelessness and complacency. An alliance is what the alliance that we want is one that is not paralyzed into inaction by fear of climate change, fear of war, fear of technology. Instead, we want an alliance that boldly races into the future. And the only fear we have is the fear of the shame of not leaving our nations prouder, stronger, and wealthier for our children. An alliance ready to defend our people, to safeguard our interests, and to preserve the freedom of action that allows us to shape our own destiny. Not one that exists to operate a global welfare state and atone for the purported sins of past generations. An alliance that does not allow its power to be outsourced, constrained, subordinate to systems beyond.
I just love the way he put this together. To me, he's officially number one draft pick for 2020. Number one. And I think the reason why JD is asking to be able to solve the California issue is because he knows he's going to be able. And by the way, if he's president, he calls JD to be VP, JD's not taking it because nobody wants to be VP for 2 different presidents. He'll become the first in history to do so. You don't want to make history doing that. And I don't think JD will do it. I think he would take somebody else as VP. There's something very, very attractive about the way he's handling this now.
Well, in my opinion, little Marco has completely grown up. I mean, playing the long game, whether it's in politics or in real life, sometimes it's not your time. It was not little Marco's time in 2016, but it certainly looks like this will be his time in 2028. Look, the world is a dangerous place. What's going on in the world with China trying to
have worldwide hegemony over the United States, whether it's Iran holding the world hostage with their nuclear deals, North Korea. We know how well versed he is with what's going on in Latin America, especially Venezuela. You know, his parents are Cuban. He's from Miami. Shout out to Miami. But the world is a better place to escape the place of American leaders. So this is what American leadership is. And then he's almost like Trump, but with a little bit more poise. Not as much style, but more substance. And he basically said, guys, we need you. You're our allies. And it's kind of like, pick a lane. You want to be on America's side or you want to be on the globalist China side? He went one by one. I don't know if you saw that, but he goes, Britain, this is what you did for us, okay? Without you, we wouldn't be here. French, the Enlightenment, thank you for that. New Amsterdam, now it's called New York. Went country by country, city by city. You helped shape America. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's a little too early to speculate on 2028. But in my opinion, this is that dude right there.
Listen, in 2022, I speculated that Trump was going to win the stock market. It is on time pandemic, and I'm telling you, I'm speculating a lot right now. By the way, here's the part. There's obviously 2 years left, 3 years left till that time comes. But what's his resume look like right now? What's JD's resume look like right now? No, but I'm being serious. What's the resume look like right now? You know what this administration could do? You know what this administration could do? This could be the first administration where, you know, you kind of think about the power of being a VP, where VP is kind of like, because remember in that movie, Vice, with the scene where Dick Cheney is going around talking to people and says, who the hell is vice president? And what the hell does it mean to be vice president? It's like, yo, you're just a protein, you're just a guy that has a position. Dick wanted to get stuff done, right? Dick was a doer. Love him or hate him. You wanted to get stuff done, his own agenda. In this case, JD, I believe, was the right pick that Trump made for VP. I think it was the right pick. But I also think this guy had on Saturday, I had a dinner. We're walking out. Sketch my opinion. Sean had it once together. They said, a conversation together. And he's talking to the girls and sending out a conversation. And I said to him, I just want you to know, for me, I'm not speaking on him. I said, this is the number one draft pick right now. Something very, very attractive about him. And I will tell you, in business and in politics and in military, you have two different types of leaders. You have wartime leaders and peacetime leaders. Wartime leaders sometimes is they don't know what to do during peace. They create. I don't know if that makes sense. A wartime leader always needs chaos. They are the one you hire during chaos to fix the problem. But if you're not too careful, guess what the wartime leader typically does? They tend to always create chaos. This guy, you know what Rubio is showing? A very interesting thing with Rubio.
Well, he said,
Rubio is showing that he can be a. When you think about him, do you think about him as a peacetime or a wartime guy?
Peace.
Tom, what do you think about it?
I think he's an interesting hybrid. More of a peacetime guy, but he's a hybrid.
I think he's 70-30 peace. But that 30 is a good enough of 30. Meaning he's capable. Meaning he's capable. Well, I think Trump is a 70-30 is what he is. I think Trump is the guy you put in to solve the problem. By the way, since 2015, 2016, nobody could have done this job better than Trump. There was not one candidate in America that could have done what Trump did. Not one candidate in America. Hillary Clinton had a rough weekend. Like, listen, you could have just gone to Munich and gone to a gate. What was that for me? She takes the train because they're worried about the climate. And then, who knows if that's even her getting in and out of the train anyways. But he was wondering and saying, I don't even know if that's her or not. But she gets out. And then all of a sudden, nobody has an idea who this man is. Nobody. He became an overnight sensation. This man's going to be invited to shows, to podcasts. This man is going to be the guy people want. It was almost like Dominic Tarczynski that day when he does an interview and he says, not one. This guy had a moment with Hillary to her face. Like if it was like the movie Hangover, in your face. Yeah, you know that one. Your face. Yeah. Go ahead. By the way, here is Czech Deputy Prime Minister Peter Motinka. Go ahead, Bob.
So the cancel culture We saw the woke revolution. I don't agree with the gender revolution, the climate alarmism.
Gender women have their rights.
I think there are two genders.
The lady corrects another lady.
Yes.
This would have never happened 4 years ago, especially to Madam Secretary. You don't touch this lady. Again, go back, Rob, can you find another clip? Well, play this one because at the beginning when he starts, it's solid as well. Go ahead and play this clip. Watch the lady stops Hillary to say let him finish. Go ahead.
The climate alarmism.
Gender women have their rights.
I think there are two genders, but some of us think that there is more than two gender. I think there is male and female, and the rest probably is a social construct. So this is something that went too far.
Does that justify selling out the people of Ukraine who are on the front lines dying to save their freedom and their two genders? And that's what you're worried about?
Can I please finish? I'm sorry that it makes you nervous. I'm really sorry for that.
It makes me
Very unhappy. Well, if this wasn't on camera, that guy he would have killed him.
He's alive. He's alive. We verified.
He's alive?
I have the two verified. He's still
See
alive.
that look in her face?
Isn't that the
This is Hillary's, Rob.
This is where Hillary admits that she doesn't like President Trump because of what he's doing to the
Go
world.
ahead.
Peter, do you agree that the Trump administration's actions on Ukraine have produced a rift in the West?
Well, first, I think you really don't like him.
that is absolutely true. Really, not only do I not like him, I don't like him because of what he's doing to the United States and
A little more than that. Secretary, respectfully, it's a little more than that. Tom, your thoughts on this?
What was really interesting is Hillary was cornered, and she had to go to the playbook. She had to go to the playbook. And what is the playbook? Pick something inflammatory. Oh, two genders over here, and there's people on the front lines in Ukraine over there. That's the playbook when you don't want to answer the question. That is the inflammatory, emotional Democrat playbook. And I just think Hillary was just sort of long in the tooth. She's been there, and there is no longer the big thing that you see here. She's on a small stage with people she would not normally be on the stage with. Because who you agree to go on, you see this, who you agree to go on the stage with is important, right? And Hillary agreed to go on stage with the vice president or vice administrator of the Czech Republic. She agreed to go on there with this news media. And that really shows that, her gravitas, the shelf life of her gravitas is kind of come and gone. And she's an opinion, she's a learned person, she's a Secretary of State, she's all these things. And she's had a big career and she has a voice, but her gravitas, it's like Obama. Remember when Obama had the election, he called it, Pat? He said, this is the worst day of his political life, it all changes now. Because he threw his weight at it and he took the L. Well, I think that's what Hillary was. There's not much left to say about this, other than simply his newsworthy with that. And then there's another part that they will talk about later, where she has to backtrack.
Throughout the conference, and Madam Secretary, I'd like to ask you, I'm the mother of a daughter, and it absolutely horrifies me to see what the Epstein files have brought up. And I wanted to ask you, what does it say about Western values when Western leaders have perpetuated and participated in these horrific abuses of minors and girls?
Thank you very much. We have gone everywhere from you start to Epstein.
No, never heard of the cheat woman. Who is the cheat woman? Gloria Martinez. Gloria Martinez. No.
Release every day.
So find out about the cheat woman.
What doesn't mean, as new commentators say, every day in the United States. It's because
No, they cook and they
there's a lot of
the breast
very
creams.
troubling and really horrific information coming out today.
Who's the cheat woman? Cheat woman. Who's the cheat
Trying to
woman?
get Jeffrey Epstein to help him overthrow Pope Francis. I guess that was part of the civilizational conservatism. So it is something that needs to be totally transparent. I've called for many years.
I'm from Kenya. Where are you from?
To be put out there so people
From
can
Kenya.
not only see what is in them, but also give appropriate
Where are you from?
and see what happens. On the New START treaty, which we were
Vinny.
It's kind of ironic that it's in Munich at a security conference, and they have a woman who is horrible at her job of security in the United States because Chris Stevens died
From
because
Kenya.
under her watch because she was ignoring him, emailing, begging for help and security because he felt that an attack was coming, and then she lied all about it and said it was because of a video, and American soldiers died, an American ambassador died, and she sat there in Congress like this, like, well, what difference does it make? So that's my first point. My second point, it's just that the Democratic Party needs to move on from these people. We need to move on from the Hillary Clintons. Stop putting Obama up there. Stop.
Yeah, you're from USA.
Move on. The only messed up thing
USA,
is move
USA,
on.
man.
Then you have the AOC.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell them, Blaze chips. Thank you. It's a good hustle, man.
She was hosting a panel afterwards, and Pat, I think you have it.
Very good hustle.
She's hosting a panel on women's rights, and the first speaker she has on the panel is a biological male, Timothy McBride, who goes by Sarah McBride. You can't make it up. So you think once you hope they continue. Me too.
I hope that you're right. Keep pushing for 2028. Yes, I hope transgender is a top 3 issue for them in 2028.
I think it will.
I hope it is.
And to tell a friend to tell a friend, man.
Exact ideology that they're going with. Keep pushing.
Please
Keep
do it.
driving.
Do it.
I hope you truly. I hope they do it because people are.
How are those Lays chips?
This is even Democrats are getting sick of this idea of what direction they're going. So I am hoping, and I'm optimistic they continue. By the way, right now, of the people that they're looking at on the left top 3, one of them is Newsom, one of them is AOC, and then the other one they're looking at is it the So here's AOC when she was asked. Now remember, this is a international state, not national state. So you could be a mayor in New York City. People are asking about maybe a city next door to you that's not New York. You have an opinion. You're a mayor in New York. They ask you about the state. You have a strong opinion. Wow, there's an educated opinion about the state. You're a mayor of New York City. They ask you about the East Coast. Oh wow, strong opinion on the East Coast, weather conditions, climate. You're a mayor in New York City. Give national opinion.
But for Hector, yeah, I sell these crepes a lot. I sell the chips a lot.
Or international. Here's what happened when they asked Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Democrat in New York.
Where you are.
A world issue. Look at the way she reacted. Go ahead.
I think China is, of course, an ascendant.
This one small bag is 10 shillings. 10 shillings. 10 Kenya
In
shillings.
Washington, there's this frame between conflict and
Like
competition.
12 pieces.
I think sometimes,
12 pieces is like
depending
$1.
on what's happening, that rhetoric can
12
get a
pieces
little
is like
conflict-driven.
$1. So you can.
And I think that
Yeah.
it's really a question of
You
competition
suffer
and,
on
to
a
Trevor's
take
point, fair competition. But when I think about that, I think about how the United States,
Kujaba.
you want to assert oneself
Zoni ya mapili, siku zoni ya
global
mapili ya
competitor. The kinds of things that one would do in order to really assert that position.
karibu. Yusafu unaweza kujia kajabarisha. United. Yes, Hector, yes, 12 pieces. 1 dozen is like how much that packet costs. This one of this,
And to all of you,
this one, this is like 1,500 shillings. I have like full bucket. I have like a full 4 kg packet here.
I think that
That's 5 kg.
this is such a, I think that
Bucket costs like 1,500 shillings.
this is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States.
Taiwan is a policy of the United States.
By the way,
Yeah,
I
I
respect the polls, no matter where you are.
every day we
And
have
whether we agree or disagree, okay? She is a formidable opponent. You can make fun of her all you
I
want.
must
She's a
produce. I
president.
usually
And
must
why?
produce.
You know, kids in sports
mass, but like produce batches, big batches,
soccer
producing big batches.
versus playing soccer for travel versus playing soccer for team B.
So what do you do?
versus team A
What do you do?
versus you play top 5 team national and then you get your ass handed to you. You know, we go to a game. I'll never forget one time our kids, we were part of the team. Then you were with me. Our kids played against the team in Orlando. I've told the story before against Eddie Johnson. They just 8-0. I talked to the father of the guy that was jersey number 10.
But the chip,
And I said,
yeah,
who
the
was
chip,
that guy?
Manchester
That's
killer.
Eddie Johnson. And I
You
said,
can
I
call
want to
me
know that guy.
Manchester
You
killer,
check your
Manchester
Christmas
killer.
vacation plans. If you guys remember this we take them to train with Johnson. You see how disciplined that people are. AOC is going to have to develop her international foreign affairs capabilities to get to that level. And she'll get there. She's young. She'll get there. Do not count this lady out. But I want you to watch Newsom. Newsom's a guy.
Come to Kenya. Come to Kenya.
Newsom's number 1 draft pick right now for Dennis for 2020.
Come to Kenya.
Here's what Newsom had to say at Munich while he
Come
was out
partner.
there.
Come to
By the
Kenya.
way,
We come to partner.
he said was so underwhelming that no one's covering it.
Hey, Sam
We're just showing it to you.
How are you?
Because this is going to be a candidate in 2028.
Next time, come to Kenya. We can partner.
Whatever you want to say, dress it to the T's every time.
Yeah. In Kenya, you can be your own boss any day, anytime.
Our country in a
As long as
foreign
you hustling, got man.
Images of masked men with secret police, something familiar.
No, serious.
Those first images came out of my state.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Come to
second
Kenya
largest
and
city in the
lunch.
States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized.
This
First
is
time
the
we've ever
latest.
seen it like this.
It's a
And
good
700 active duty Marines
Joe
sent
Con
not
said
overseas,
hi.
but to the second largest city in the United States of America.
That's a tough man.
Of my city, masked men
Joe,
showing up unaccounted,
call.
no idea, ID.
How are you?
See that's in the life is still like a quarter of it. Somebody just has to
I'm very fine. I'm very fine.
If you have a Middle Eastern or Armenian relative, they will lick their thumb to fix something on your face. You know what I'm talking about?
Old Jewish mom.
Yeah, it's like they will lick it, and you're like, Mom, what are you doing? But that tie, you just need a Middle Eastern uncle. And if someone in your family needed to marry a Middle Eastern, they will tell you if you have stuff in your teeth, if your tie is off.
Yes,
Anyways, I'll stop right here because he's going to be okay.
Personally, you just eat.
What we're talking about
Takes like
at the
2
end of the day
days
is
to
who's
eat
gonna
and
be
finish.
next president, right? So we're just seeing these candidates. And what we know is that there's levels to this game, and as the lights get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter,
Eat first day,
we'll see
second
who's
day.
really qualified. Because there's a difference between
Personally, I don't
substance
take them
and
right now.
style, right? And there's a difference between policy and personality. So let's juxtapose AOC and Hillary, which is
But
this.
it's the sweetest place.
She might not be likable, she might not be credible, you might not trust her. She's not an idiot. You want to know,
Just
say,
eat.
on paper,
Finish.
this team's supposed to win. Well, on paper, and then the famous, this is why they play the game. On paper, who has Hillary Clinton as president? First lady, first governor of Arkansas, first lady of the United States, U.S. Senate for 8 years, I believe, Secretary of State, within inches away of the presidency. And now she has the probably worst case of TDS in the world, and she said it herself. On the flip side, you have AOC, who's all style, all personality, and then today, Junior, as the lights get brighter, and she's not talking about socialism in New York, she's talking about world peace type stuff. She's just
No,
not
I've never watched.
Maybe she'll get there in 5, 10, 20 years, who
Yes,
knows?
comment.
But she's just not there yet.
Never watched.
The last
How
thing
is
to say
it?
is what Hillary, and I think you'll appreciate this, Matt,
But after this, I can watch
in
it.
2016 was keeping
But
the
this change,
establishment intact. And Trump was a
You can
wrecking
look
ball
up
to the
for
system.
it.
And a lot of people, me included, we're ready for the wrecking ball. We're ready. Oh my God, he's going to come in and tear down Obama's legacy. And you know what? Thank God he did that. Because the world needs a wrecking ball. And somebody say, clean up your room. Get your act together. Western values. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yes.
We're a Christian nation. You're getting invaded. Get it together. Kind of like the stepdad who comes in and says, clean up your room when the mom won't do it. But Trump is so necessary. Marco Rubio looks to be the next dude. Hillary Clinton has a TDS. AOC is just not qualified. And the
If
final
you don't
point
have a
is,
job, how do you
so
survive?
the gender
You
thing is
live
still
alone
there.
or with family.
Like amongst young men, I saw these young dudes in Miami. They're like
What do
Ama
you
you
think?
got a
Democrat, bro?
YouTube channel.
Democrat is becoming slurred amongst young men. Because it means like, what do you like, sit down when you pee, you get a mangina kind of thing? That's what young men are saying to other young men. Like 10 years ago, like, you're racist if you have a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
The pendulum is completely swung.
It's never good to have a mangina. But then you were
No,
going to say
it
something.
isn't. But like, I just want everybody to understand. Gavin Newsom's the front runner. He is traveling
Me, I'm just
the
listening,
globe.
watching English TV.
Davos World Economic
Yeah,
Forum,
yeah,
attacking
like,
America, crapping on our president. Then he went to Brazil for the UN Climate Summit again,
It's YouTube.
criticizing our
I'm watching
policies,
YouTube.
attacking the president. And now he's
Kenya,
here
we have
in
YouTube. Kenya,
Munich,
we have
Germany, saying that our military, our
Kenya
federal
is just that
government, our
we are
Marines
a bad
are
old
freaking
country.
Gestapo. Okay? Shame on
Kenya,
you.
we live
Shame
good.
on you, you freaking traitor. Okay?
We live
California
good.
finished. Taxes, homelessness, I
Officially,
know we're gonna
English
touch
is
on
our
it surely.
subject.
The gas tax, homelessness, you name it.
No,
$90
no,
million
I'm not
for killing
in
innocent
Kenya.
babies, and you're over.
This
Stay
is
in
in Kenya,
California.
man.
Fix California. And I get it. I get it. I get it. The presidential campaign is off and running.
Kayole,
He's the front runner.
such
Okay, I'm telling
Kayole,
myself, people,
Kayole, Nairobi,
put your policy,
you
put your
find
left and right aside. This guy is
from there,
openly
Kayole,
told us
Nairobi.
that he wants an open, he
Just have a
wants
small
a sanctuary
business.
city, he wants to give free money
Like I
to
said,
anybody
come
that's
to Kenya,
illegal, and that's the guy.
have a
Look at
small
his resume for
business.
California. I don't care if he's
Yeah, I'm
from
packing
Munich,
clips
crapping on us.
behind me.
Just know this is
There
the
is
end
a
of
shop,
our republic. It's not a democracy. These are the type of people that is scary.
PlayStation, PlayStation 5,
He's a freaking
PlayStation
puppet for
4.
freaking China, and that right there, guys, it could be the
Come,
beginning
come
of
to
the
Kenya.
end. Is that guy? First order of business, I would bet money on anybody that wants to bet, he's gonna open the border. What's to stop it? What's gonna stop it? Okay, that's the enemy right there. Period.
Yeah, when we talk about foreign policy, it's over before halftime. You look at AOC, you look at Congressional Whipper, you look at Gavin Newsom. They are pros. They're going to go home and study. They're going to get
Oh,
their
sure,
memorized
sure, sure.
bits. They're going to come back to the microphone. They're going to sound even better
Show
the
you.
second time.
I have it,
Foreign
I have it.
policy right now, how I win in foreign policy?
We can tell you in Kenya, come to Kenya, come to
That's very,
Kenya,
very simple. However,
come to
when it comes
Kenya.
terms, it's all about the economy.
Everything
When it comes to
you
the
want.
election next year, it's going to be all about the economy.
You might
You're
not
gonna
know
get
the
one of
plot,
these
maybe I'm
people,
the
even
plot.
though a foreign policy debate would be over before halftime, the economy is what's going to
You
be
know, like in Kenya, everything
hanging
you
there
offend
that
everything.
causes the American people to vote. Because even the international folks, don't have respect for that. You don't see respect coming
The
from
only
that.
thing
You
you
don't see
need is
disdain,
money.
but you don't
If
see
you got
AOC
money,
and
you
Gavin,
got
even
everything.
Hillary being welcomed with open arms. I mean,
You
I
got
was watching
everything.
Hillary get upset.
It
I was
is
waiting for the
inflamed. It is
adrenaline
too
to kick in.
much.
I
It
mean,
is too
adrenaline.
much.
Yeah,
I'm
let's go to
inflamed.
the adrenaline to kick in.
Hadi zangu labda zimeshika sana. Everything is there. Food is in plenty.
Tell Tom how great of a job he did. When he said some of us were children back then, and then Tom said some still are. And that was it. The moment Dan paid attention. Let me do this one more time. Here's a question for you. Would Newsom be somebody you would consider on Obama's camp? On the Democratic side, would you say Newsom is somebody that Obama would support? Go, you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay, because can you play this clip, Rob, of Obama on a podcast that he's doing, asked about Newsom and homelessness? Adam, I know you got thoughts on this as well. If you want to play this up, here's Obama. Let's give proper credit to this podcast because I think he does a very good job for the left. What is
You
his
can
name?
give us a like. Anyone who's watching, give us a like.
I'm trying to be sarcastic. I think this guy's a player on the left, but he doesn't
I'm on a mission. Fucking 15 dozens of clips. 15 dozens of clips. Today they packed themselves them. I have 1,500 for today.
That guy right there. So he interviewed President Obama. By the way, young guy, 37 years old. You got to watch these guys. They're going to be around for a minute. Go up, Rob, and play
Just
the
because
clip
they have a
and,
skill.
yeah, go ahead. Watch this. Go
I have time
The other
to
side does
pack.
the
When
mean, angry, exclusive, us, them, divisive politics.
remove the
That's
mouse.
their,
Right, this is not true.
that's their. Our court
Is
is
the homelessness route with Newsom? I don't know if this is really good idea because Obama is pacing is so slow it can take him 17 minutes to get to. So if that's what they're Obama should say, Obama on homelessness, Newsom, go for it.
between, let's say here in Los Angeles, around
I have buckets of clips.
I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are helpless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need. We should also recognize that the average person doesn't want to have to navigate around the tent city neighborhood of downtown. And that we're not going to be able to build a working majority and support for the resources that we need to help folks like that, whether it's drug treatment or temporary housing or what have you. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want, because that's a losing political strategy.
So what do you think he's saying? What do you think he's saying?
I'll tell you what I believe is going on down there. It's very simple. First of all, this is not the sharp, precise Obama of 15 years ago. He's older. He still carries gravitas within the party. Let me tell you where Obama's connected. Obama and the DNC are still connected to him. And people have criticized me and said, oh, you're wrong, but I'm going to double down on it again. They do not see Gavin Newsom as a candidate. Some Dems do, but the core establishment sees a collection of hit pieces that Gavin Newsom will not be able to avoid when the game turns into the Super Bowl on the national stage. Homelessness, the billionaires that left California, exodus. By the way, you know the number one city search number one non-Vegas city search when people looking for houses in Vegas, on Zillow or Redfin or whatever, it's from Los Angeles. 25% of the searches on Zillow or Redfin for homes in Las Vegas are from California. So, and by the way, that's regular people with that $1 million average home looking for $435,000 average home, so you can go to the areas. So the core DNC, and I've researched this, they see that hit piece, they see the tax hit piece, they see the billionaires leaving, going down to Florida, they see all that. This is not the guy they want. It may be the guy they end up with, but it's not the guy they want. They themselves don't believe he'll do good in Iowa or New Hampshire. And whenever you stumble out of the gate in the primary, you look weak. Ask Jeb Bush. I don't think that Obama is being sly here. I think he's being very front-loaded, and I think the DNC's behind him. I still believe they look at someone like J.D. Pritzker, rightly or wrongly. I think he's their establishment guy, J.D. Pritzker, and it just happens to be a close political ally and friend of Obama. That's what I think. People can say I'm wrong. I don't doubt Gavin Newsom's capability in front of the camera. I do not doubt his slickness. I do not doubt how he may look likable, but that's what I think the game is.
Let me ask you a question. How much of a student to me, if you gave 3 guys topics to study, and say, guys, I want you to, let's just say you're a guy that's prepping somebody to be a candidate, okay? And I give you 3 topics to study. We're going to hold a debate, and I'm going to ask you these questions, okay? And there's going to be a panel of people asking you questions. You got 1 week to prepare for this topic. Who do you think actually will put the legwork in to study those topics? Newsom, Rubio, or J.D. Vance? Who will be a student, obsessive student between the 3?
Rubio. I think so too. I think it'd be Rubio.
Rubio, I think, believe it or not, is student, I put JD first.
I put JD
I put JD first, then I put Rubio, then I put Newsom.
Are you talking about, okay, I'll take the debate, of policy, I agree with you, Gene. I agree with you.
I just think, I look at JD as a student, like, I think JD's going to go be the one, but between the 3, who will present the argument better between the 3?
I think Newsom will look better on TV, but he'll stick it to 2 or 3 points. He won't go deep.
Who is the most qualified person to give the answer on the topic? Rubio, that's what happened. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So to me, that's kind of where I go with it. You know, you look at someone, you're like, is this guy going to go do, like if I ask Tom to do something, I want to hear from Tom for 3 or 4 days. And he'll come back to me and he'll what he was going to do. He had 2 weeks. So I wanted him to lead the project. And he doesn't work for it. So, we had a meeting. I kept within the first 60 minutes, I knew he could go down. All he did was ChatGPT. Nothing. And I said, yeah, I didn't even go through stories and all this other stuff. To me, I think Newsom is the number one in wins. They win more than somebody who's not. That's why I put him on my
good on you.
Go ahead.
Ultimately, I think what we're doing, we're going to just close this down, is who's going to be the next guy? We're saying the greatest guy Obama,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're
we're
saying.
saying the third guy Trump weighing on things. And we're basically saying, it's not like, you were
Good man,
this week. Every year they're saying, who's the best player in the league? Who is it? What's going on? Is it Anthony Edwards? I don't know. It's Luka, and then a year after year, it's either Giannis or the Joker that's the best player in the league. So right now, all we're doing is saying, all right, we got a little this, we got a little this.
Are you going to make a point? Forget about what we're doing. Are you going to say something? Go ahead.
That's what we do.
But what's your point? What do you know?
Obama,
Of course we know what we're doing. I want to know what you think of your opinion on this.
Obama might get kids. Called homeless. Homeless. We all know that it's unhoused. With all respect. What Gavin Newsom is doing in California, I think he spent how much? $25 billion to not solve the homeless crisis. So what you're saying is that Gavin Newsom is so talented that he doesn't even need to do the homework. He doesn't have to have a resume. He's basically Anthony Edwards, is kind of what I was getting at. He doesn't have the background. And all these guys. And I think what you're saying is the closest to that is Ruby.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is you can, I have guys that I would want who would go waiting at this level, waiting at the next level, waiting at the next level. Then all of a sudden, like there's a guy that we have in the company, super capable. His conference calls today start off the following way. Hey, I know you guys don't like working with me. I don't care what you want to transfer me. I'm not letting you go anywhere. I'm not going to do nothing. I mean, it doesn't work. Doesn't put in the numbers. And we still have to send this out $500,000 every year. Okay. So what's the point? You know, he could get away with lip service at one level. Oh, wow, he's good. Lip service at the next level. Oh, wow, he's good. Lip service at maybe this level and a little bit of work. Ooh, the right 4 people saw it, but the average person didn't. Then lip service at this next level, 50%. And then the next one, you know you can't lose, so you just go back down. Competition is a very, very, very interesting thing. Very. I watch guys and I listen to what they're doing and how far they're willing to go to tolerate the pain. And you'll always be able to say, no, this guy's got this limit. He's not ready for that hype stuff. You have to give it to him. But Newsom, to me, if I was a guy that was a Newsom skier, if I'm a guy that he hired, I would take a very different strategy with Newsom as a product. Very different strategy with Newsom.
What would your strategy be?
My strategy would be complete, because he can actually be a president. He can actually be a president. But I think he's relying on winning, which, by the way, good. I don't want him to be a president. My strategy with him, I would need 12 months with him. I would need 12 months to prepare for 2028. By the way, not offering. So everybody knows. But he is so close, and I'm so glad he's not doing it. I'm so glad that he's not doing what I know he could do to win. I am so glad he's not doing it. And by the way, I'm not even going to share it on today's phone. Somebody might hear it. Because last time I did, I'm not even going to share it on today's phone.
Can I make one quick thing? Like, we kind of just brushed over that clip of Obama, man. He's the biggest projector. He's saying our side is mean, angry, us, them, politics, and pushing. We're talking about, we already have undisputable evidence that he spearheaded the conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people in 2016 with spying on everybody, with all, you name it, Russian collusion, fake impeachment, all the fighting, shooting the president in the head, trying to kill him again. And then his side celebrating when Charlie Kirk was shot and murdered in front of everybody. So for him to stay there and say that it's our side that's the angry, aggressive, violent side is projection and so full of congratulatory liar.
You're absolutely correct. His side did a lot of that. he didn't do a lot of that. His side did.
Well, he's a divisive top. He was one of the most divisive presidents. Obama, big time. Yeah, my point making is, no.
Obama was impersonating. Guess what? You know what? The last year of my presidency, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be head of the CIA. I'm going to do a bunch of underhand stuff.
I wish I had an earpiece to talk to the president. Yeah, with Biden.
By the way, craziest thing just happened. I just got a connect from Gavin Newsom asking me a question about the strategy. Danny, let me tell you what's going on here. Let me recognize somebody here, guys.
Asking for
I have a recognition to give. Okay, this right here. By the way, these things cost $700 for each to make. They're all custom made. Listen to how heavy it is. Ready? This is very heavy. You hurt somebody with this. Someone officially crossed 5,000 minutes, the fastest in the history of Minek, even faster than me. She crushes it on Minek. She keeps winning the super heavyweight champion of Minek on a monthly basis. Shout out to Lindy Lee. She just crossed 5,000. 2 weeks ago, she's already at 5,514 Mineks that she's done. Lindy, this is on its way to you. For some of you guys that have questions, especially the conversations we have with Lindy, ask Lindy about the room she's been in with Hillary, Kamala, all these other guys raising money for the Democratic Party. She's got a lot of insight. Congratulations, Lindy. You officially get the first. Now the next one is the black one, which I just crossed 10,000 Mineks myself. So this also happened. This works. It's funny when I'm looking at how much the amount of connections you can build with people. But respect to Lindy. Also, you know who quietly just passed Minek yesterday at 5,000? Guy named Adam Sostin.
Oh, there we go.
But yours will come in. He just crossed 5,000 Megs. I sent it to you yesterday. Yours is being customly made. Lindy, this will be shipped out to you here very soon. You're amazing. Keep at it. And by the way, guys, just recently, Andrew Wilson is now responding on the next. Alex Jones is on the next. We got a bunch of different people. If you guys want to ask some questions, Hesperian, Emily Austin, Cuomo, a bunch of these guys responding to the next. And Lindy is officially at 5,000 plus Minek. Okay, next story I want to get to. Reza Pahlavi in Munich. Reza Pahlavi in Munich. So he's out there. Lindsey Graham. When it comes down to Iran, there's a lot of stuff going on. The president, I think, just recently said, Donald Trump says regime change is the best thing that could happen in Iran. He just said this a day before Valentine's Day. Here's the president. Go ahead, Rob.
They've already said, you want regime change in Iran? Well, it seems like that would be the best thing that could happen. For 47 years, they've been talking and talking and talking. In the meantime, we've lost a lot of lives while they talk. And legs blown off, arms blown off, faces blown off. It's been going on for a long time. So let's see what happens. In the meantime, we have tremendous power has arrived. And additional power, as you know, another carrier is going out.
Okay, so he's saying that, by the way, while that is going on, he has a meeting with Netanyahu. Where he told Netanyahu he would support Israeli strikes on Iran's ballistic missile program. Sources says this is CBS President Trump told Prime Minister Netanyahu in the meeting at Mar-a-Lago that the president would support Israeli strikes on Iran's ballistic missile program, and the deal between Washington and Tehran could not be reached, according to two sources familiar with the matter, who spoke to CBS News on condition of anonymity to discuss national security issues. Now, while this is taking place, Reza Pahlavi is out at the same Munich event. And wait till you see how many people showed up. During this conference, Lindsey Graham is being asked, not this is what Ron Luke or Lindsey Graham wanted to do. Lindsey Graham is being asked if they would support Reza Pahlavi. Listen to Lindsey Graham's answer, and then I'll give my thoughts. Go ahead.
And I know Reza Pahlavi is sitting in the audience, but I'm going to ask you, do you put your support behind Reza Pahlavi? Are you ready to say he is the person that the United States is, or you yourself, I don't know whether you speak on behalf of the United States, but as the senior Senate Republican?
No. Because that's not my job. I've been with him on every cable TV show on the man. I'm very impressed with the way he can articulate what's at stake. I'm sure he'll have a prominent role in Iran. Don't make it too hard. All we can do is help Iran have a chance to be free. They screw it up, they'll screw it up. I'd rather give them a chance than not, because I know what I'm getting with the Ayatollah. The difference is Trump. When he'll love hearing that, sort of. He's done something other presidents. He picked the people over the regime. We had the JCPO, that didn't work. Everything we've done, Europe, America, we have.
Okay. So you see that answer being given, which probably is the right answer. And then later on, Reza says, I'm not asking for the endorsement. And he says something very important. He says, whether the president does anything or not, the Iranian people are going to continue doing what they're doing to show their frustration with what is taking place. However, he did urge the president to move rather quickly. Rob, I don't know if you have that. There's a page here that shows Iran's exiled Reza Pahlavi, just U.S. military regime on brink of collapse. Is this the one, Rob? It's 11 minutes and 46 seconds. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Today, hundreds of thousands from Munich to Toronto to Los Angeles are standing in solidarity with the people of Iran as part of my call for a global day of action. Sending a clear message to the leaders of Western democracies to stand with the people of Iran. Here in Munich, 88 years after the Munich Agreement attempted to appease Hitler, we gather at another profound panel to ask, will the world stand with the people of Iran, or again, appease the regime which has massacred over 40,000 of its citizens? Let me state the proposition plainly. The fate of Iran is not merely an Iranian question. It is a decisive test for global security in our time. For nearly half a century,
Did he say that already?
the Islamic Jihad.
Okay, so that's where he's at and what he's saying. And then, Rob, which one is this? Is this thing?
This one is where he actually calls for regime change in Iran.
Yeah, he's already done this. What I want you to find is when the media presses him on a question, and he says, I knew you would ask a question like that. I have it. There's plenty of clips on this one if you can find. I'll pause right here. Tom, I'll come to you. Because I know you made some notes here that you got some thoughts. Adam, I know you do as well. The regime change. What are your thoughts?
Well, diplomacy has been tried. We're working on diplomacy. We've been trying to work behind the scenes. We've been trying to do things. We told the people we have their back. And now we've talked to Netanyahu, and we have not one but two battle groups, not two carriers, two battle groups that we have pulled up next to this. And we have the heat. I think this is about to be a hot conflict. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be surgical. I think it's going to be a lot more than 12 cruises dropped from 50,000 feet from B-2s. Right now, Reza Pahlavi, he says we have a plan. I don't know who he means we, but he also he says we a lot. He did not counter Lindsey Graham. He did not contradict him or get into it. When I look at all of this, and what I see is there is a plan for after they topple the regime, number one. But number two, I think it's going to start with, hey guys, you had an opportunity to leave the country. You had an opportunity to back off. Now, we don't want them to back off and leave a complete vacuum like when Saddam Hussein went into hiding in Iraq and just all the wrong people and the crazies, you know what I'm talking about, Vinny? The crazies kind of came in and started running it. We don't want that. We've done that. We pulled out of Afghanistan and seen the crazies fill the vacuum. You've got to have something powerful enough to stand in the gap. But there's a lot of things going on beyond the leader. It's like what we're doing in Venezuela right now. Is after Maduro, you got to clean out all of his guys. Because there's not just one rat at the top. There's rats and claws and rats everywhere. So you got to sit down and plan. It's not just one guy sitting there. So I think the regime change is going to take right now. I think there's going to be a military action that takes out certain defense capabilities at a much more intense show of force that we did with the B-2s and taking out certain parts of the Iranian enrichment and nuclear weapons program. And I think as you hear Reza Pahlavi saying that we have a plan, and I think the we he's talking about is the expats and Trump. Because what we would he be talking about? He's been sitting in Washington for how many weeks now? Photographs on the couch in the Oval Office with Lindsey Graham. It's all good. That's what I see happening. I think the world has gotten tired of democracy, and here we go. That's
But I'll be clear about it. How do you negotiate with a regime that's willing to commit a genocide on its own people? So say what you want about what the United States did in Iraq or Afghanistan. Say what you want about what Israel did in Gaza. Talk about what's going on in India, Pakistan, Russia, Ukraine. The Islamic regime of Iran will murder, maim, kill, and genocide its own people. Like, oh, you think you're a gangster? I'll kill myself. You ever see a hostage situation and they don't have a hostage, they just have a gun to their own head? And the cop's like, yo, bro, put down the gun. He's like, I'll do it, man. I'll kill myself. Iran is willing to kill their own people. How do you have diplomacy? To me, it's so like absurd to think that they're gonna meet Iran in the middle of diplomacy, because they actually have something called strategic deception called to keep, which is basically like approved lying for the sake of keeping their regime and their ideological viewpoints intact. They'll do bait and switch. I mean, my opinion, trust nothing and verify everything with this regime. I'll say it again. They'll kill their own people. Now, what are we doing? And the hypocrisy on the left, on the encampments and the chants and the marches. Not one tweet, not one anything. Hey, what's going on? Nothing is so freaking laughable to me, the hypocrisy that goes on around the world. So they'll blame Israel. Yeah, they're doing this whole deflection. So the last but not least, Trump is doing the art of the deal, peace through strength, whatever it is. And I'll say this, there's a clear-cut template that's going on in the world called North Korea. North Korea has the world hostage because they have nuclear weapons that they can use at any given point. And they're backed by China, much like Iran is. So we got to do something. We got to do something quickly, because we have how much time until Trump leaves office? 3 years. Maybe Rubio's there. Maybe J.D. Vance is there. He's more isolationist. I don't know. I trust Rubio a little bit more than that. But let's see if Gavin Newsom comes in here and just redoes the nuclear deal like Obama did. Then we're back to square one. We're giving Iran money to fund terrorism. One thing I know about Iran, they're willing to play the long game, and their people will pay the price. And that's Iran.
Beyond the analysis, Adam, and all of that, what do you think happens right now?
What do I think is going to happen in Iran?
Yeah, right now.
Nobody knows. Like, literally nobody knows. President Pahlavi grew up where? When's the last time he's been to Iran?
That's 1978.
Okay, so in my opinion, respectfully, he's disqualified. Bro, if you haven't lived in the country in 45 years, be a talking head, that's great. But what's going to happen if this guy goes back there? They're going to just fall in love with him again? The IRGC is just going to just romanticize this guy and say, here's our leader. He wants the job, right?
Rob, can we do Rob? You have the clip of Instagram holding the flag in Munich with a 50,000 low end, high end 250,000. I went on X to look for it as well. So if you can't find it, don't worry about it. Just go back to the other clip that you have. Here's one of the BBC reporters asked the question, and Reza Pahlavi snapped at him a little bit. Go ahead, Rob.
I just wondered, you said you're going to accept this transition period. But that's obviously not the case. There are a lot of people who don't support you within Iran and outside Iran. My question is, why have you not been able to unify these people? Why is it that you're not the voice of all of the Iranian people? Why is it that Western countries are not supporting you or endorsing you as the voice of the Iranian opposition? Thank you very much.
Well, this is a very typical question I expect from the network that you represent. Look, you say it's not true. You tell me, have you heard any other names called in Iran other than mine? Well, you have your test. You asked the question. I'm answering no. The fact is, they called my name. Is my name written on the walls there? It is me that they chose to trust to lead this movement. I'm not saying that I have 100% of people on my side. Of course, I'm really. And there are obviously elements that do not adhere to those four core principles. You might have separatists, you might have pro-regime reformists,
You might have groups like the MEK. Certainly, they're not my friends. And I do not represent them. Of course, I don't represent them because they are not adhering to the principles that I described. But all those who are prescribed to the fourth principle belong together. And among them, you will find a quite diverse number of people. We have Republicans and we have Democrats. We have people on the left, on the center, on the right. We have athletes, we have artists, we have representatives of ethnic communities, religious minorities. Many of them work in the space and we have the management impossible.
I think it's like Venezuela compared to what's happening here are two completely different things. We were in, we were out, we kept the number two guy. Tom, you mentioned this ago. Kept them in line. They understand. Hey, listen, because the machine still has to go. Think about this. Right now, we go and we take out everybody, whatever. The IRGC, what's the move? Even if they go, okay, transfer, Khomeini is gone. Now we take over the military. How can you trust anybody in the military? How can you sit there and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna be loyal to this guy? They don't like this guy. They like the other guy. So this is beyond delicate. It's very dangerous. Two factors. They can just be like, all right, sign on. And then 1 year from now, do a complete coup until what the hell's in charge. This is a very, very touchy situation. So I think the timing, mind you, people are still dying, over 40,000, and our hearts go out to them. But this is such a delicate situation. You can't go in there and like, this guy's out, this guy's in, hey, military, listen to that guy. That's not how it works. That's how it works.
Look at this. This is right. Is this Germany? Yeah, that's Germany. Look at it. Wow. 50,000 plus showed up. Lindsey Graham went. He put on the hat. MIGA. I try not to say that word like MAGA because it sounds different, but MIGA and Make Iran Great Again. And they're saying this was 50,000. Some are saying 250,000. Some are saying 130,000. Regardless of what it is, they showed up. This is there.
And the lion sword is the good flag.
The lion and the sword is from Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. That's what Iran was at peace with the world. They got along with everybody. Then they came up here. People are in the rain, standing outside. There's something going on. By the way, here's all I'll tell you. I've been very, very critical of them. Like, I'm probably on the extremely critical where I got a lot of his side that was not happy with the comments I made. I will continue to do so. But I'm also going to give credit when he's playing offense. I've never seen him play offense like the way he's playing offense right now. I don't know what role he's going to be playing, but I've never seen him play offense like the way he's playing right now. And it's benefiting the Iranian cause. But he's got to close. And the closing part requires him to be everywhere at any given time, and he's doing so. So if he does, and if the Iranians choose him or somebody else, that's a different story. He's been away for 48 years. He said on multiple interviews of mine, he does not want to go back there. Okay, yesterday, Ali Karimi was a legendary soccer player who came out, and he was seen good-looking guy, very good-looking guy. He was seen, out there supporting. By the way, Ali Karimi, I think he's got like 20 million followers on Instagram. Like, he's that kind of a player where people knew him in Iran. So we'll see what'll take place. But here's what I will tell you, and I'm going to keep repeating this. We can go to sleep today, and tomorrow morning you wake up, and you'll see the same or similar type of a situation, maybe a different kind of strategy happening to Iran. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, who escaped? Who left? Who do we have? Who is over there? Who's running it out? Who's going back? At any time, we could hear a story like that happening in Iran. At any time, this could happen. And if that does take place, now you're talking about the president doing what he did with Venezuela, now Iran. Next, Marco's probably going to do something with Cuba, and then they get Panama Canal, they get all this stuff. This is a very, very interesting situation that they're in as they're going through this. So I want to get to the next story here, which has got to do with Epstein. So Epstein, Pam Bondi comes out and releases this over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. She releases this story about what is the files that we're looking at? 300, what is it? No, it's not 300. 300 names, right? And Pam Bondi lists 300 bigwigs named in Epstein file, including Trump's, Obama's, Clinton's, and Kamala Harris, in a new story that was released. Is this it, Rob?
This is the letter, yes, and then these are the names.
These are the names. Zoom in a little bit, but it's just the names are being listed, right? It's not saying, it's saying these names are in there. Yes. Is that what it's saying, Rob? Yeah. Okay, William Barr, you'll see some of the names of John Bolton, Bono from U2 is there, Tucker Carlson, Dick Cheney, Hillary Clinton, you see John Brennan, Beyonce, Hunter Biden. You see a lot of Leon Black, a lot of these names that are in there. I saw a story the other day from Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan clip showed up on my news feed, and it said something about, they found 330 gallons of sulfuric acid that was shipped to his private island on the same day that the FBI reopened its investigation into him in 2018. I could not believe it that they found 55 gallons. K-Rock, play this clip.
See what they're running to say?
Here's one of the craziest ones. The day he was indicted in 2018, the very next day he ordered 330 gallons of sulfuric acid. What? Yes, he ordered 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid to be delivered to the island.
Okay, pause it right there. So then, Rob, can you on ChatGPT and check to see, is it true that on December 6th, 2018, day after he got indicted, Epstein ordered 655 gallons of sulfuric acid? Okay, can you do that? Papa, there's one of the creepiest things which goes and gets linked to some of the claims that people are making. Okay, so let's see what short answer, the real number partly true. Yes, documents indicate that Epstein entities ordered 6 55-gallon drums, 330 gallons of sulfuric acid on December 6, 2018, which appears to line up with a renewed federal scrutiny, but there's no proof it was for destroying evidence or anything criminal. Okay, so then do me a favor, Rob. Can you give me top 10 reasons why people order 650, why somebody would order 655 gallons of sulfuric acid?
Not a company,
Yeah.
an individual, a civilian.
Civilian would order 655 gallons of sulfuric. Maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe it's a new drink that's even better than absinthe. Maybe it's some hardcore liquor that's coming out. Maybe this guy's doing stuff that we've never heard about. Where does he go?
Always looking
Wild treatment, number one. All right, large reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Okay. Use sulfuric acid to control pH levels and prevent mineral buildup. All right. Number two, swimming pool and spa chemical control.
I think that's misleading. I saw that over the weekend. I looked it up. Muriatic acid, when blended with chlorine, balances the chlorine in the swimming pool. It's muriatic acid, not sulfuric acid for swimming pool.
I want you to talk to ChatGPT afterwards, Rob. Battery maintenance and storage for facilities, agriculture soil conditioning, industrial cleaning and descaling, metal processing and fabrication can go a little bit lower. 7, fertilizer production and storage, septic system waste treatment, generator fuel. Okay, now do me a favor. Okay, what could an evil person, give me 5 reasons what an evil person who's a criminal would order sulfuric acid for. Think as if you work for the FBI investigating a criminal here. Okay, let's see what it says. Watch ChatGPT flip out for a second. And we're like, the system is down, the system is down, the system is down. In a way, as analysts would, high-level behavior signals. Okay, no problem. Number 1, evidence destruction. Thank you. Okay. Number 2, destruction of physical infrastructure. When organized destruction a little bit lower on. Sometimes destruction. Number 3, intimidation or violent intent. Would trigger scrutiny's threat reports from victims, protective orders, communication, illegal industrial activity or environmental crimes, staging or critical. Now ask the other question. Has any killer in the history killed people using sulfuric acid? Okay. Has it ever happened? And if yes, can you give me 3 cases of people who have used sulfuric acid to kill people? Who's this?
Crazy 8. In Breaking Bad, they used sulfuric acid to kill Crazy 8, the drug dealer. But they left the sulfuric acid in the bathtub, and it sank through and ate through the building and fell out. Oh, it's
Crazy 8 came through the ceiling.
yeah, not good.
What was that?
It was gross.
So
Here's the next one. Is it working right or it's slowed down a little bit, right? What's the point here? Who the hell orders 655-gallon sulfuric acid a day after you're indicted? Okay, let's speculate. Allegedly, while ChatGPT is taking it down because it's freaking out. Okay, he's freaking out. The question he's asking you doesn't know what to say. Yeah. What would you say? Why would somebody do that? Let's see. Okay. There's the crimes. Don't forget John George Hay, the acid bath murderer, the English serial killer active between 44 and 1949, killed multiple victims for financial gain, used sulfuric acid to try to destroy bodies and eliminate evidence for the murders, believed that without a body he couldn't be convicted, a theory that ultimately failed. He was convicted and executed in 49, and his case became one of the earliest examples of forensic scientists proving no body, no crime myth. George Alexandre Serret from France, go a little bit lower. French criminal convicted double murder, dissolved criminals remains in sulfuric acid after killing them. Hello. Joanne Rand acid killing case UK 2017. This is recent. High-strength sulfuric acid was used in a violent altercation. Victim later died from complications linked to the attack. Can you do me a favor and see if Joanne Reed is at all in the Epstein files? Some crazy thing we're just checking right now. Watch it be in the Epstein files.
Joe, baby,
Joanne
swing
Reed.
by the island and do a favor for me.
If it's in the files, by the way, and they met each other pre-17, yes. See if that name is in there. No results. Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. Continue, please.
Well, I mean, if we're speculating, and this is all allegedly, if I was on an island, not only recording, but flying in extremely famous people, higher up, heads of state, actors, you name it, and they were having sex with underage girls, there is no way you can let an underage girl go back into society after she's seen the face of client 1, client 2, client 3. There's absolutely no way. Yes, there are some of these survivors that are out there that have been showing up to Congress, which, I mean, I hope that they give them witness protection and come through, but there's no way that dead men and dead women tell no tales. You have to get rid of them. You have to. Like, there's no way you're going to let it go back into society. Let's just say, allegedly, you were hooking up with Bill Clinton. What are you going to do with that person? You're going to let this 15-year-old go back into society and see Bill Clinton on TV and go, that's the guy right there. So another email, Rob, and I sent this to you Slack yesterday. On November 19th, to answer your question allegedly, Pat, there was an email titled Confidential. Jeffrey Epstein claims 2 foreign girls were buried in the hills outside of Zora Ranch on orders of Epstein and Madam G. Let's take a guess who that is. Allegedly both died from strangulation. If you read that email right there, Robbie, it says, what is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside of Zora, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex. Okay? Everybody out there can speculate what you want. What we're seeing is it's going to take a while to get through these 1 million or whatever emails. These people are disgusting, Luciferian, devil-worshipping, sacrifice, pedophilia, and cannibalism. I don't care what anybody says. From what I can gather and muster, this pizza, hot dogs, insinuation with young kids, it's so blatantly obvious at this point. I'm not one of these people who sit back and go, well, you know, they could have $65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza. It's unkind to me at this point. Like, you can't let them live. But like, there was a dentist office there. There was a dentist office there, as if you wanted to pull the teeth out of these victims. That's another thing that they do. Pull the teeth out, get rid of the evidence. You shave their head, you go to the ocean, and that's it. This is something disgusting, and I think that's it right there. I don't know whose face that is on the wall, which is creepy. Can you imagine going to the dentist's office, and that's it?
What is that?
That's the dentist's office at Epstein Island.
You know what Jeffrey Epstein's last girlfriend went on to do as a profession?
What?
A dentist.
Oh, isn't that weird?
The last woman he dated before he died was a woman who went to dental school, practiced dentistry, and they have a dental. And there were reports that they were pulling the teeth out of the children. They were calling them blowholes. That was according to one report of a survivor. In the files, they pulled the teeth out so that they couldn't fight back for the sexual assault.
Think about that. You have a dentist's office to pull the teeth out of kids so they don't fight back, and then 2 for 1. When you God forbid kill these freaking poor kids, there's no evidence of their teeth. Because when people die back, it's not their skull, nothing. It's their teeth. Their dental records, how they identify them. So I know, and it's crazy. The more and more you're hearing, the trap doors, all the parties, all the people, and all these names. That's the only messed up thing is they redacted everybody's name. Why can't we see who these people were? Who are you, Ina? Who is Jeffrey Epstein talking to about the killing of these 2 people? And I'm gonna wait, Pat, for them to talk because I have the pandemic email to me. Not worth this, but I'm just saying.
Tom.
No, I have nothing to add.
Yeah,
I have
what can you even say?
nothing to add, no analysis to add.
Yeah,
You go through these emails and it's horrifying. To me, it's not where we are today. It's where the authorities were when they gave him the sweet deal. They knew he was bad. They had him. And there were powerful people that helped him not only walk on sweet deal, but go to minimum security with self-managed, self-reconnaissance. They still have him. He wasn't even in prison. And my question is, how did he get that deal? Because that was where they knew what was going on. The email showed that he was back to things that was president. So it's like you had an opportunity to get this guy. You had an opportunity there to do it, but somebody dropped the dime on somebody, and he got back out. Was doing the same thing again, and that whip shows me how big it is. That's what shows me how big it is.
And Tom, what are the odds that Pam Bondi is in charge of? She's the highest-ranking law enforcement official in the United States during this administration, and this is what it's coming out. What are the odds? What are the odds that that girl who came in after Alex Acosta that didn't go after anybody? They didn't go after anybody, or they didn't arrest anybody. Now, all these years later, she's going to be in there, and from my perspective, she is horrible at her job. She can't speak in front of the camera. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She got caught on camera saying that there was 10,000 at the restaurant.
What story were you going to go to?
So I was going to go. So in 2015, email to Jeffrey Epstein revealed subject: preparing for pandemics. Okay, the sender wrote, "Let's discuss next steps. How to officially involve the WHO and the CDC. I hope we can pull this off." Jeffrey Epstein was looped into the conversation about pandemic planning and global health prevention. How is this not unprotected name? What are we talking about? Let's discuss how officially. Thank God. And the ICRC. This is huge subject. What the hell are we even talking about right now? How is this not the number one thing? The number one thing, besides the children, is mother that name. Who is he talking to? This big church, how many millions of people?
This is only 5 years today. Look at the attachment. Document number this. Geneva meeting on pandemics. Geneva is where the conference is about, right? Yeah. The Hague, you go to Geneva. These are where like typically global conferences.
Yes. And there's one more Robbie, I sent it to you. What is Jeffrey Epstein calls a question to Bill Gates, okay? And in it, he says, give me 1 second.
What was the date of that?
March 20th, 2015.
Okay, hang on with that. What was that, March 20th? So, there is I want you to go search Bill Gates TED Talk 2015. What's the title? Bill Gates TED Talk 2015. What's the date? Look at the date. Look at the date. 2015, 2 weeks after that email. So he does a TED Talk telling users to give up. The next outbreak, we're not ready. And what is the 38 million views? This is 2 weeks days after that email that he's given. So I went in 2015 and I said, what were any major events that took place in 2015 when they talked about a pandemic? And this came up. What do you think, Tom, with Vinny showing this? How do you process this information?
Well, I think it's pretty freaking scary that these guys are talking about it. I see the Fauci crossover, but I don't see the Fauci crossover from the lab. I don't think it was a casual meeting. I think it was like,
Are you ready for this? When you're having a conversation with Jeffrey Epstein, so whoever, Robbie, does it say who's he emailing? I doesn't. Are you ready for this? Anytime he's called myself. Now, also, I've been thinking a lot about that question you asked Bill Gates. Are you ready? How do we get rid of poor people as a whole? I have an answer / comment regarding that for you. When can I call you to discuss this? What do you think they're probably talking about? Maybe a global pandemic that killed all the old people and a bunch of poor people? What do you guys think?
This is 2011.
Even worse, Tom. You've been planning this for a long time.
Every
Every time you hear these poverty-stricken people, they always say overpopulation. There's too many of us. Okay, we're peasants, and their livestock were nothing to them. And it's just, bro, I think that's why is he talking about it?
This isn't about Jeffrey Epstein.
I mean, what when you why is it important?
Smash those conversations. When can I call you to talk about this? This isn't like a joking conversation. This isn't an LOL email. This isn't a fun email. And all with this type of stuff. And then you're an asset coming out. Dealing with disgusting people. Who knows? Who knows? Hope it wasn't accidental. Hope it wasn't malicious. It's here. They're putting us forward. The event everything brings before and then weird.
Prime Minister, you will apologize for maintaining the Epstein relationship.
Honestly, me to me because you don't want the
He said he regretted ever having responsible for all my actions and decisions, and there's definitely room to ask for more in-depth judgment on my part and more examination of what the details really are, what exactly happened there.
Sure.
Of course, he's going to say that. I'm going to give you a different call. Allow me to this out. We have to because what I'm doing is I totally empathize and understand why you would get emotional. What's going on here? Oh my God.
Hata ujinga mnango wa results.
Are they making them into the devil?
Kuna mistakes
So we interview a lot of people. Johnny Depp, I'm just asking. Because Epstein is dead, has the story taken a life? I'm just asking. Because I watched a great episode yesterday from a guy who I think does a great job. This guy told me. it's a conversation on his show, Epstein hysteria, and the moral panic. You ever seen this guy? This guy is cold-blooded, facts, logic, reason, no emotion. And that's what you need in this situation. He dismantled Dave Smith. Now he's having a conversation with this guy, Michael Tracy. Michael Tracy is basically, in my opinion, the anti-Whitney Webb. He's saying, look, this, I'm just following facts, reason, and logic. Everyone is so hysterical about what happened here. So let me just go down the facts here. Do you know what? I'm not saying what he should have been, what he could have been, what maybe, what Jeffrey Epstein was actually convicted of. Do you guys know?
He was actually soliciting prostitution and sleeping with underage.
Correct.
That's disgusting.
And as he says in the story, it was the day before her 18th birthday. I'm not advocating for that, but you know who is? The 35 states in America who have a 16 relations thing. Florida's 18. So the allegations of what he was accused of, sex trafficking, conspiracy, sexual abuse, rape, he was never found guilty of it. I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm not saying that he couldn't have done it. I'm just saying that we live in a country with rules and laws, and he was never found guilty of it. That's all I'm saying. So the other thing is, Ghislaine Maxwell. So if they're going to kill Jeffrey Epstein because he knew all this stuff, and she's his right hand woman, she's
mwingine kwa
he has all these secrets, and he knows all the black book and all these things, and he knows everything. Why would they kill her? So if she knows everything, if she's the assistant to the devil incarnate, how's she still talking? How's she still walking? So I'm not on team Jeffrey Epstein at all. Absolute dirtbag. I'm not on team Ghislaine at all. You know, some people are making a name these days, but I'm just asking questions. I'm simply asking questions of, and it's this. Is he, have we made Jeffrey Epstein the boogeyman?
Nikuandikia namba.
When you look in a court of law, he's never been found guilty of these things. So we're all speculating, we're using wild emotions, and it's taking a life of its own. And I get it. It's fun to do. And also, you can't sue for libel or slander when he's dead. But if she knows every secret about Jeffrey Epstein, why are they still allowed to do it? That's the question. Let me ask you a question.
0793
Only exists in movies, or do you think it exists in real life? Actually, think about the last 50 years. What's the darkest thing that got exposed? What is the darkest thing that got exposed in the last 50 years of America? 50 years. What's the darkest thing?
Possibly that our government, the CIA, or somebody took out a president.
I think that's bad, malicious. You know, leaders have been killed for many years. It's not like, I don't know what it was. It was the wrong.